Hello, listeners.
Sorry.
Bro. Sorry.
I actually can't.
I'm sorry.
Guys. Okay, wait, little recap. The reason we didn't publish last week, we literally had the worst technical difficulties ever. We literally couldn't get anything to work. This is why we are yappers and we're not tech people, because it's so bad. We were just pressing random buttons and hoping for the best.
Yeah, that's kind of my motto through life, to be honest. Just kind of see what works, and then if it doesn't work, try something else.
Yeah.
Nothing worked, and then that's when everything goes wrong.
Right.
So,
but you know what? It kind of ties in with what this episode is going to be about, because sometimes things just don't work out, and sometimes you just gotta start over, try again.
For real.
You know, dust the dirt off your knees and start over. And it's annoying and it's really frustrating, but we're back. And
we're back, and I'm not gonna say we're better than ever.
Yeah, I feel
like that adds pressure to like actually be better than ever. We're back and we're ourselves.
We're back, and
if that's not enough, then
we're good enough. Yeah.
Screw you.
All right. Great intro.
That's a great intro to what I want to talk about, because like after you start therapy, take medication, and like everything's going well for a while, like there's a chance or a possibility that you might not stay that way like forever, because I believe that mental health is a lifelong battle. Like if you have depression, anxiety, you're dealing with it for your whole life. It's not like once you unlock the secret, then everything is like better immediately. That's just not
for sure. And it's something
accurate.
That happens to many people who struggle with mental health, because there's really no one size fits all solution.
Now, what people don't realize, like what I said, it's just an ongoing battle. So, and this actually happened to me recently. I was like it was like New Year, New Me. You know, we literally talked about that in the last one.
Right.
I was like, these are my resolutions. They're very realistic and everything's going to be fine. And that was not true. I even stopped taking my medication because I felt like I had all the tools. Big mistake, because I immediately fell back into my old habits. I was glued to my bed. I isolated myself. I either ate nothing or something like super unhealthy, like too much, which is like, for me, that's like a sign that I'm depressed. And so, because sometimes I'm just so like, you know, like the meme of like depression can't hit a moving target. Like, yeah, I am that. And when I'm in that, I'm like, I'm fine.
Right.
But then if I notice these signs, like felt like staying in bed all day, isolating myself, or like the either undereating or overeating, that's when I'm like, okay, take a step back. You might be depressed. So
yeah. And then I would say the same for when I've fallen back into old habits. And honestly, I'm going to be so real with you guys. Like, this is something I'm going through right now. And sometimes it can be, for us girls, it can be something aligning with your, like, you know, the phases of your menstrual cycle. For me, I've noticed that. And I think I would really recommend a period tracker. That's very much helped me, because knowing what phase I'm in really helps me know how tired I'm going to be, how motivated I'm going to be, whatever it is. And there are just certain periods throughout the months that I'll be doing great mentally. I'll have so much energy and I'll be so motivated and feel incredibly productive. And then there will be other points where I'm just like, what's going on? Like, I want to sleep all day. I have no motivation to do homework. Like, I'm getting all these questions wrong on my homework assignments, and I just feel so down. And I just want you guys to know, if you're listening to this, if you're in the middle of a rut right now, because that's honestly what I'm in right now, that it's going to be okay. And it's not, you know, you're not going to be stuck there forever. No one stays, you know, at a low place forever. And really, those low places, I've realized, helped me appreciate the high points that I get to even more. Like, you wouldn't appreciate it as much when you're feeling so happy and when you're accomplishing things if you hadn't hit those lows. And I think that's something, through a lot of prayer and through a lot of just reflection, self-reflection, I've realized that is the truth, and that sometimes you just have to accept the lows as hard as they are.
Yeah, that's definitely so true. Like, accepting the lows is a good thing to say, because like
And pushing through them too, because I think accepting in the sense that like
you're normal. Like you're not, if just because you have a low week or a low month, even that doesn't define
it doesn't make you a failure.
That yes, exactly. That in what you are able to give, even if it's like a small amount, like that's still very deserving of like of like happiness. Like even if you do sleep in for a week, like that doesn't mean that you as a human being if there's anything wrong with you. That just means your body needed to rest. And then the next day, just if you continue that and you tell yourself that I deserve to be happy, I deserve rest, like that'll motivate you to do like the small changes that'll get you out of that rut. You know what I'm saying? Like don't, just because you're in bed doesn't mean, oh, I'm not. Like that's what I've thought before. Like I'm in bed all day, that means I'm lazy and I'm fat and I'm stupid. Okay, whoa, back up.
That's what your brain will tell you.
That's what your brain is saying. It's not true.
That's what the enemy will tell you, and it's such a lie. And in my faith, and just as a Christian, I truly believe that God calls us to something greater, and that we are his children, and that he loves us, and that he wants us to rest, and he wants us to see ourselves the way that he sees us. He loves us unconditionally. So that's something I've definitely learned, and I try to apply in the way that I view myself. I try to just, whenever I'm having all these negative thoughts, I can't do this, I'm a failure, I'm not capable, I just flip those around and I say, I get to do this, I want to do this, and I am fully able to.
Yeah, that's definitely so true. Like, and like bouncing off of that too, is like when you're in the rut, there were literally, like, whether you believe in God, I do, your brain has like chemicals that make it happier, make it like calmer. That's like scientific fact. You can check that out on our Instagram.
Yeah.
But I actually discovered this by accident. I noticed when I was in my apartment all day, I was just like down, like, blah, I was just feeling blah.
Yeah.
I went outside and immediately feeling the warm sun on my skin, I took a deep breath and I actually felt 20 times better immediately from the sun, like soaking through my skin. And then I was like, that's so weird. Like I actually felt so much better. And I just did some research and I realized that actually helps your brain produce serotonin, is by being in the sun. And there's other ways, and there's other chemicals like in your brain that does that. Like if you pet a dog, it can release serotonin and oxytocin. If you exercise, it releases dopamine and endorphins, which endorphins literally numb pain. And a lot of people who are depressed, like I sometimes feel achy all over my body, but it just is like my brain just like dragging me down. So exercise, like even if it literally not even exercise, because I'm not a gym girly, like literally walking around campus, like it just kind of eases that like heavy feeling, because it's literally scientific fact, and it's just backed in a lot of experience. So
right. Yeah. So in other episodes, we've touched on all these ways you can take care of yourself. So make sure to check that out, especially in our New Year's resolution one. We talked a lot about that, and just like ways you can reset while also not putting too much pressure on yourself. So, but this episode is specifically focusing on just like trying to combat the negativity you may feel when you do get back into those ruts, and when you do, feel like you're a failure, because I constantly deal with that. It's something that people with mental health issues may always deal with. And you just have to learn to flip those mindsets, because the more you reinforce it, the more it's going to come back. I've learned, at least with my intrusive thoughts as someone with OCD, the more I let those thoughts in and the more I just dwell on them, the more they're going to come back and the more repetitive they're going to become. And that's the obsessive part of my disorder. So I remember, I'll tell a little story. I will try not to yap for too long, but, I was feeling really, really great. I believe it was my senior year, and I went to my psychiatrist and I was like, okay, I'm feeling amazing. Like I'm going to go lower my medication. I didn't really even want to be on medication in the first place. I just, I got to such a low point that I needed to be. And I was at a certain dosage and I wanted to go a little bit lower, and I did. And at first I was like, wow, this is amazing. Like, I'm making so much progress. And then a few months later, I start to fall back into just obsessive thinking, into a lot of compulsive behaviors, and just a lot of shame and guilt all the time, and even like some depressive symptoms. So I was just, I felt like I was going backwards fully. Like, I felt even worse than I had when I first started medication. And I was like, whoa, like, this is not the way it's supposed to be. And I was feeling so down, and I did end up going back up recently to that dosage that I was at before. And actually, I thought I was going to be really down about it. I thought I was going to be really like feeling like a failure, but I've just realized that sometimes you just have to do what's right for you. And that was what sometimes you have to go back. Like, sometimes you have to take a step back, and like, to grow even more, like you have to take a step back again. And it's like, growth is not a linear process. We have graphics made by our amazing director of graphic design that say that. And like, it's true. It's not going to be this straight, perfect ladder. And you're not going to get there immediately. It's something that takes a lot of work, and it means going back to, sometimes you're going to have to go back to those old habits to progress forward. And it's like, sometimes that's what it takes. And it's unfortunate, and it really sucks when you're going through it. And it can really cause a lot of just feelings of just failure and feelings of anxiety for me. But ultimately, that's what growth is. It's just this up and down crazy roller coaster. It's not, it's not a straight line. So for me, a way that I try to combat those feelings of failure are really just affirming thoughts, and then calling people that will, it's a tricky line, because you obviously, for someone with OCD, I'm yapping a lot here.
No,
I'm very sorry, but
I'd be sorry.
but as someone with OCD, I feel reassurance is actually not the best thing, because that's a compulsion. That's something that people with OCD do to make themselves feel better. But I think there's a certain level of like reassurance that's okay. And I think sometimes just calling your loved ones for support, like, there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's a great way to help yourself grow, and to help yourself just give yourself some grace. Like, see yourself the way others see you. That's something that's really helped me. Whenever other people, like, even like the littlest compliments, like the other day, some girl told me, like, oh my gosh, like, you are like so determined, like, just like, I can tell you're going to be like an amazing like lawyer someday. And it was like, I don't even know if I want to be a lawyer, but just the fact that someone saw that potential in me, it's like things like that like, don't take those things for granted. Like, really take those compliments and soak them in, and let them like affirm you, and let them help you grow.
Yeah, I actually have a similar story to that. It's not necessarily about like family, but I was feeling lazy because we had just gotten into the new semester, and like, I didn't pick up an article for FSVU right away, and I was like, oh, like, I'm just chilling, and my classes are kind of more like, there's just less work involved in them this semester. I'm just kind of chill. Like, it's like a few assignments. I'm not super busy like I was last semester. And
me too. And it's also the beginning of the semester. Right. So
that has made me feel honestly terrible, because I feel like so lazy, and I feel like and it's like, I think I'm really bad with temptation, because like, if my bed's just there, I'm just gonna crawl in, and then
me too. Or if there's like a sweet treat out on the counter, I'm 100% grabbing it, and like, I'm going to my bed and I'm rotting.
I can't. So I think what I was doing last semester was I was just so busy that I was better than I was before, but I was also just, like I said, like, distracted a little bit from my feelings. Yeah. And I was just feeling like down about not being able to put out as much work as I had before. And I get a message on LinkedIn from Stephen Langle, who is he's a journalist based in Ohio. I think he's like, he went to FSU too, and he's like he is like a mentor. He really wants to mentor FSU journalist students. And he messaged me, and he sent a really long message to me about my portfolio. He said it was a really good like thing to create. He said he was really impressed with how I have different projects and different skills, and that my water story about the Wakulla Springs was really well written and creative. And that compliment, like, made me smile, made me happy for a whole day. Like that, I was riding on that. And like, that is crazy because it was like an answered prayer. I'm not even joking because
No,
that
it's truly
day
sometimes God will send those people to
Yeah.
like affirm you, because sometimes it's so unfortunate. I've really been trying to go to God for everything, and like obviously seeking his validation first. I truly believe that he should be our first priority. And then sometimes it's just amazing what God can do. Like God can send those people to say incredible
it actually
things.
spoke to that part of my brain that was like feeling
And it's
self-hatred,
crazy, like,
you know what I mean?
yeah, it's
You know,
crazy God's timing. And it's like,
depression
it
and
was,
self-hatred are really close. So I feel like
yeah,
that
yeah.
was
Just like
him
with anxiety,
saying,
it's like,
don't hate yourself. You're doing a really good job.
mm-hmm. Like
And
other
this
people are
person
noticing
sees it too, and
Yes.
he's sending you a LinkedIn message.
Yeah.
Like that was crazy. My mind was literally blown because
Yeah.
he's worked like at the White House or something crazy like that, NPR, and he's messaging me. He clicked on my LinkedIn.
Mhm.
Yeah, but then I'm like, yeah, I did because I'm putting hard work in.
Mm-hmm.
So it just made me feel more
I
confident.
know.
But yeah, I don't know actually. That's all I have to say.
That's okay. But honestly, just reflecting on your own accomplishments. Obviously, like not dwelling on the past either. Like I have an issue with like looking back at old photos and like dwelling on the past and like wishing I could be back to my motivated old self. But I'm like, I'm growing still, and these accomplishments have made me who I am today. And I think there's a healthy way to, seek affirmation from others and to not seek it, but really just whenever you do receive that affirmation, to really take it to heart and use it to motivate you. Because sometimes in those periods where you're lacking motivation, those little things mean a lot. And
yeah, and honestly, affirmation doesn't have to be a verbal like sentence that speaks so specifically to your brain like we had.
Right.
But it can also just be laughing with your friends. Laughter also produces serotonin. Like your brain doesn't know the difference between fake laughs and real laughs. So literally that like action creates happy chemicals in your brain.
Right.
And just laughing with your friends, even if it's just for one night, is like I think it's a sign of progress. Like
I agree too. And you just feel so loved. Sorry, I'll cut you off. But like you feel like you're in like like that sense of community is really important too.
It's like social interaction is actually one of the most important things, but it has to be people that uplift you, and it has to be people that are valuable to you. Like don't just seek out all the people you can, but if you find people that you can laugh till you cry with, like don't let that go away.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
For sure.
Because that is something that's so healthy for you.
Yes, that's what's going to pull you out of that rut. Being around those people that are like healthy, that are promoting, that have good values and that want what's best for you is truly important. I found that with my parents, with my boyfriend, with all of my friends, including Anna. Like just people that just have good values and that truly do love me and
that support you,
even
when you're not
at your 100%.
Exactly.
Yes. And you're not always going to be. And that's what, that's something we'll always reiterate every episode, not just this one, which is about, getting out of those ruts and getting out of those bad places. But in every episode, like, it's important to know that you're not always going to be at 100%, and that's okay. Just bringing, or 100%, it's just such a, like, I don't know. I don't even want to say it like that, because it's like, whatever you can put out, like, the best you can do is perfectly fine. And
I think too, sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you, but
no, it's totally good.
I think too that when people give out what they can,
that's what I'm trying to say.
More likely to receive you. Yeah. Like, if you're pushing yourself to like the brim and you're suffering, the people that truly love you are going to take note of that. And they're going to kind of, I don't know. They want you to be thriving and they want you to be happy. So they're going to take the parts of you that you can give healthily. Is that a word? Healthy?
I think so.
Yeah. Whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They want you to be healthy, and they are there to receive you wherever you're at. And I think that's so important. And even if it's just one person that meets you where you're at. Yeah, that's the right way to say that.
Yeah.
Meets you where you're at.
And
then that means you can also meet other people where they're at, because someone might be in an even lower place than you, and you can meet them where they're at.
I think that's so important, just giving other people grace and realizing that no one is perfect. I've always struggled with bitterness towards people and just like
Same.
judgmental thoughts. And it's like just recently in church, or actually this was said to me by my roommate, but also just like in church and just like in a bunch of different places. I keep hearing this message. It's just like, how can you judge others when like look at yourself, and not in like a harsh way, but it's like you are also a sinner, you're also someone that goes through things, and it's like don't judge others in like the same way you judge yourself. That's so harmful. Just don't judge yourself either. I just think that's such a reflection. The way you judge others honestly kind of ties back, it's kind of deflecting on like the way you view yourself, I think.
I mean, that exact scenario reminds me of the Michael Jackson song, you know?
Yeah.
I'm talking to the man in the mirror. Like, literally. And it's cheesy, but it's true. It starts with you. Change starts with you. I'm so sorry that I'm about to bring this up. But I went to Leslie Odom Jr. at FSU.
No, guys. Well,
that Sophia unfortunately did not get tickets to, and I feel really guilty bringing this up, but he said something really similar to that because he was being asked about like the state of the United States right now and just how everyone's like fighting all the time. And he said, change starts with the person. Change starts at your dinner table. Like being able to be with your friends and laugh with your friends, like, I mean, that's not exactly what he said, but he did say change starts in your circle, at your dinner table. And he had a lot of great insights to say about everything. It genuinely felt like I was in therapy. But it was Leslie Odom Jr. and I was like shocked. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
But
it's okay.
I had to bring it up, and I honestly want to read his book, so maybe we can start a little Mindful Corner book club or something and read his book, because it actually, the things he said to me also were speaking to my brain. That was also a thing that I was like, wow, he's really speaking. It actually was very useful insight. So maybe we can start a little book club.
I know.
I think it's called Failing Up, which is about like understanding yourself, and I don't know, it's fitting. So maybe we can do a little book club. I don't know. And who's with me, guys?
Yeah. No, I'm definitely with you. And I think like on that note of like understanding yourself, that's just so important. Like self-reflection is so important, and realizing like recognizing patterns, at least for me, is really important as someone with OCD, like recognizing when I'm going to feel the most down. I'm trying to think of like an example. My stomach just made a weird noise, but anyways.
I don't think the mic picked it up.
Okay, so. That's good. But I'm trying to think of an example. Like maybe I noticed that when I'm scrolling on social media for, this is like, I don't know if this is actually true, but I'm just making something up right now. But if I'm scrolling on social media for more than 10 minutes, I'll start to feel more self-conscious and more anxious. Things like that, like just noticing when you're going to start feeling down. And I don't want to say avoidance, because avoidance is not, really a good tactic to deal with things, but like just being aware of that and like combating it when it does come, and realizing, oh, this is how I am. Like, this is just the way I react to things, like makes it so much easier. And then it trains your brain. I learned this in therapy. It trains your brain just when you go through it, when you go through that negative emotion, you get to, that high point, but then you overcome it and you make it out, and you're like, wow, wait, that was better than I was. Like, you keep scrolling and you feel that anxiety, you ride the wave of the anxiety, but then after you feel so much better, you realize that you can do it. And instead of telling yourself like, oh, I can't go on social media anymore, like I just can't because I get too anxious. Like, instead, after you ride that wave and after you realize that you can't overcome it, it just reinforces the cycle where you can do things, instead of that, that mindset before where it was like, I can't do it. Like, I should just avoid it altogether. And I think that's such a helpful tip. And it starts with knowing yourself, and it starts with knowing your habits, knowing your patterns. And, I just think self-reflection is so important. So
yeah, then you can like not divert, but like you can shift your actions to align with like what's better for you. Like,
I agree.
Like,
yes.
Yeah. I wouldn't say, honestly, it's impossible to avoid social media. Like,
yeah, honestly,
unless you're really determined, which is props to you. But,
and if you need to delete it, like, obviously we're not saying don't delete it. And if you want to keep it, like, it's really up to the individual.
But you can shift it to like, maybe instead of, I'm going to watch just the reels about food that don't make me anxious, or I'm going to watch just the reels about, I don't know, Taylor Swift.
Right.
I don't know, random example. But it's like, you can choose to interact with these things mindfully but it starts with knowing yourself, like what you're
mindfully.
Mindfully.
Like mindful corner. But yeah.
At this corner, we're mindful.
Yes.
Sorry, that was really bad.
Yeah. So, again,
That was really
we're
bad.
it's okay. Again, just to reiterate, if you are in a place like I currently am, low-key, where
too.
you're like in kind of a rut, you're feeling kind of Queen, are we okay?
Yeah, I try to go away.
Where you're feeling demotivated, you're feeling down about yourself, just know that, you know, there's good things coming for you and that God has a plan for you and things are going to work out and that sometimes you're going to go through low points and that's okay. That is totally okay. We're sorry that we've been going through a little low point with Mindful Corner and we haven't published in like 2-3 weeks or something like that.
We just missed 1 week.
We missed 1 week, yeah. It's just, we had some technical difficulties, but it's fine.
Yeah. And if that's not just like in character for this, it's a mental health podcast. Our mental health got in the way. Not just our mental health. Also the just room.
You know, just that studio got in the way, just everything.
Yeah. But you know what we did instead? We went to go get a sweet treat.
I was about to say that. So, you know, we were like, you know what?
And it really did.
We were feeling down and disappointed. Like literally what we're talking about this episode, like it's so crazy because like what, like it was kind of like a testament to what we were about to talk about, like what happened to us. It was like we felt like we were like failures and we were like, ugh,
we were like we can't make this podcast. We should just. I mean, I didn't think this, but like I was kind of just like, oh, I like getting the sweet treat. Like we don't have to do the podcast, but it's like no, I like making the podcast.
Yeah,
I want to, but this week it just didn't work out. Like I sometimes tend to jump to conclusions when like my mental process like sabotage me. I sometimes jump to a conclusion of like
so real,
I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Like if I hadn't hit a roadblock with getting posts for an article, or if I hit a roadblock in like my ideas for an article for her campus, I just think to myself, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm stupid. I can't do it. And it's
but
like,
block out the roadblocks.
It's just
block
like
them out.
It's just like for me, it's like not even that. It's just like back up and it's like, what do I find joy in? Start to do those things, and then I start to like do the creative things again. The creative process needs rest. That's just, and everyone needs rest.
Yeah,
you should not feel guilty for resting. Even if resting looks like sitting on the couch and watching a show.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what you need. Like
whatever you need to do. If it makes you
laugh, that's even better because you're smiling and laughing and having a good time.
Right.
Like do not feel guilty for resting.
Yep. And that's what we did. We went and got ice cream. We had good conversations and we rested. And we encourage you all to do the same and to continue to prioritize yourself and be kind to yourself as we go about this semester and we keep working, going to school, doing whatever we need to do. But we care so much for you guys. If you ever need anything, just contact us on our Instagram. You can DM the account. You can reach out to us directly, like via email.
Add us on Flare.
I know. If you go to FSU, join our club. We're on Knowles Central. We're on Flare. There's so many ways to contact us. Just go to the link tree in our Instagram bio at Mindful Corner Podcast, and we will see you next time.